called Listening to Music in the Car. And this is for the APCUG Wednesday workshops. So just a little background information on myself. From a music point of view, born and raised in New York City, and my accent hasn't given me away. It certainly is still there. I love to tell people I never had an accent until the day I arrived in Arizona. But I was around at the birth of rock and roll, and that's when I started my record buying collection. Got involved with an organization in Southern California when I lived there, where we put on live quarterly stage shows. I helped start an organization called Record Collectors of Arizona. Here, this is a group that meets weekly via Zoom, and we play music and we talk about the early days of rock and roll. And I also have a local music listening club that I'm part of that meets monthly. And here we go over all types of popular music from the last 70 years. And then on the technology side, I'm president and treasurer now of APCUG. I help coordinate a club here in Payson, Arizona. And I used to teach 3 computer classes at the Payson campus of Eastern Arizona College. Now, just a quick plug. There's another show, and I could see so many familiar faces that popped on here this morning, called Tech for Seniors. It's broadcast every Monday morning, and there's some familiar faces. Dr. Ron Brown and Yui Popluck, you've seen them. Dewey Kloss is our streaming expert. Bob G, of course, we all know him from his Avast-sponsored security presentations. So each week we do an hour-long presentation via Zoom. I often will do it, not often, I always do a music outro at the end. So here's what you have to do. If you've not been part of Tech for Seniors, copy down that meeting ID number. There is no password. It starts at about 8:30 West Coast time, 11:30 East Coast time is when you're admitted. And then the actual program starts about a half an hour later. And if you want more information, www.techforsenior.com. Okay, on with the show. Listening to music in the car. Let's think about how far we've come from the AM radio. Remember that AM radio having push buttons? So the AM radio started in cars, then it had the push buttons, then we had the FM band added, and then there was the 8-track player that came with your AM FM radio. And then the cassette player, and then the CD player, and then later on, multiple disc players as part of the car's head unit. Then satellite reception. And then cars started coming with wired connections, so you could play your device and the sound would come out the speakers in the car. Flash drive connection, and then more recently, Bluetooth connectivity. So lots of movement with music in the car over the many, many decades. And today, the options for music in the car are numerous and actually can be confusing. The choices include AM radio, and sometimes they were offering AM stereo, although that really didn't catch on. FM radio, and now we have what's called HD FM, and that offers up to 3 additional channels on the same frequency, if your vehicle is equipped to handle FM stereo. Oh, I'm sorry, FM HD or HD FM. Sirius XM satellite radio, easily over 100 channels of music, news, sports. The compact disc player, and that's why we're having this discussion today, starting to disappear from new cars. Smartphone connection via Bluetooth to play streaming and songs saved on a device. And then, of course, USB connections with later model cars offering ability to connect 2 flash drives. That's so, as you can see here, a husband and wife can have their own flash drive and never have an argument over what songs to play. Who said it's like deja vu all over again? Yes, Yogi Berra, famed New York Yankee catcher. Now, most of you can recall when the following disappeared from cars: 8-track players and cassette players. So what's happening now with CD players is nothing new. And I've learned that in addition to the actual CD player disappearing, I have a 2018 model vehicle. It no longer has the simple audio cord input connection. They're expecting everything to be done wireless. So why don't most new cars now offer you the opportunity to have a CD player? Well, think about it. Time for new technology to take over. Car CD players have been around for more than 25 years. It requires the user to have the physical presence of the media, a compact disc, and usually the jewel case. Well, that is not necessary with any of the newer technologies. And CD sales have been declining for the last 15 plus years. Younger listeners are opting for newer methods to hear their favorite artists and tunes. So the auto manufacturers have gotten smart, and they're now providing that newer technology, and they want to eliminate the expense of a CD player, which today has limited appeal with younger consumers. So here's what you have to do as far as deciding how you want to proceed now that you're not going to have a CD player in your car. Option one, you can convert or rip the songs from your existing compact disc collection to MP3 files saved on your computer so they can then be copied to devices to play the music in your car. If that's too much trouble, option two, choose a streaming service and play the music in your car from your smartphone via Bluetooth or a wired connection. And then there's an option three. Why choose? Use both like I do. So on option one, converting existing CD music files to MP3. Over the many years, this is a process I would perform as soon as I purchased a new CD for all the above and obvious backup benefits. It always surprises me how many consumers have not done this. I say show of hands here, but actually later on in the chat box, why don't you just tell me if you're the person that has never ripped your compact disc collection, because I'm just always curious as to why not. Now, there's several CD ripping programs available to download for Windows computers. Despite its age, an acceptable choice continues to be Windows Media Player, mainly because it's simple, it's easy to use, and it comes preloaded with Windows 10. On the negative side, Windows Media Player has not been updated in years and actually has lost some of its functionality. Now, Windows Media Player, is it going to survive for Windows 11? Well, actually, I purchased a new laptop that I upgraded with the beta version of Windows 11 so I could test it out. And I was able to easily download Windows Media Player, and it functions with Windows 11 as it does with Windows 10. But this Windows Media program continues to be the same one released, believe it or not, in 2013, with a version now, the latest version being version 12. So do you have other CD ripping choices? Absolutely. Apple users, as well as Windows users for that matter, can still download iTunes despite its official retirement. But if you want a more modern program for ripping CDs, my recommendation is to download the free MusicBee program to your computer. That's at getmusicbee.com. And another good choice is called MediaMonkey, MediaMonkey.com. Now, ripping CDs to your computer requires an optical drive. And for those newer laptops that they want to make nice and thin, they don't have an optical drive anymore. But you can purchase an inexpensive portable unit that plugs into a USB connection. Those are readily available. They're probably under $30 these days. So ripping a music CD to your computer. Well, there's many YouTube videos that provide this visual instruction and narration to help you understand the process of ripping a music compact disc to your computer. Just type the words in the YouTube search box, rip CD to computer. But for Windows Media Player, I prepared a short video which will explain the steps I recommend you take. So here we go. Okay, folks, I've opened up the Windows Media Player that's on Windows 10. I've inserted the CD called Evolution by John Carpino, and it's recognized it, comes up, and it shows the names of the tracks or songs, the time involved. All the contributing artists is John Carpino. Here's a CD album that came out in the year 2004. So I'm going to want to rip this to my computer now. So all of these songs are copied to the computer. But before I do that, I need to make some changes in my settings. So over here is the rip settings. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, and there's a few things I want to look at. The first one is format. And as I hover over that, several choices open up. Now the first four are all Windows Media type audio formats, and they're okay, but we're not going to use any of those, so we can disregard those. And the last three all have the word lossless as part of their title, and that really means that it's a high-end audio that's not compressed at all. Wave, as an example, that one choice there is typically what the format that's used on professionally made compact discs. We're going to choose the one in the middle, MP3. While it is a compressed format, it's definitely the most versatile and will work in almost every kind of device. So that's what we want to record these and copy these and rip these as MP3s. The next category is audio quality. And this has to do with not only the quality of the sound, but the size of the file. And if you record this at a low kilobytes per second, say 128, that won't take up much room, but the quality won't be as good as if you do it, say, at 320 kilobytes per second, or in this case, the best quality. And I always opt for that, since we're ready making this into an MP3, which is a compressed sound. Let's give it at least the very best possible quality in that regard. If I go down this list, there's a category called Rip CD automatically, and this could have a check mark next to it. I leave it unchecked. The concept here is sometimes I want to put a CD in my computer and just play it. I don't want to rip it automatically, so I leave that unchecked. The only time I might check it is if, let's say, I had a dozen CDs to do one after the other. I might keep a check there because that makes the process move a little bit quicker. And then the next category is eject CD after ripping. And I might normally put a check mark after that so I can have a visual as to when the process is done by seeing the CD ejected from the computer. But today I'm going to actually uncheck that. I don't want it to eject when we're done with this particular process. So I have all the settings made. I'm now going to click on the words over here, rip CD. And as soon as I click rip CD, it changes to stop rip, because if I wanted to, I could now use that same button for that purpose. But if I look over here, I'll see that all of these songs are pending, and the very first one, it has started the ripping process. So this goes pretty quick. It's already at 30%, and I'm going to let this flow and just let the first song completely rip, and then you'll see it automatically go to the next song. But then I'll pause it and let it finish, so we don't have to actually sit through and watch this whole process. There it is. That's how quickly that first song, 3 minutes and 47 seconds, but it was done in probably about 25 seconds, and it's been ripped to the library. It's automatically started on the second one. So at this point in time, I'm going to go over and I'm going to pause the video and come back when this is all done. Okay, the ripping has completed. All of the tracks say they've been ripped to the library. What does that mean? They've been ripped to the library. Well, with Windows, you have what I call a library, or what they call a library. Some people call it a folder entitled music, and that's automatically where the copies of the songs go. So if I open up the File Explorer and I go into this PC and I click on the music, lo and behold, there's a folder that was already created with the name of the artist, John Carpino. And if I double click on that, it's the name of the album. And if I double click on that, it shows the 10 tracks. Very nice. So I'm going to actually copy this to a flash drive. So with this window open, I'm going to go to File and say Open, or click on Open New Window. And it opens up an exact copy of the window I was using. I'm going to move that over here to the right, and But now on this side, I don't want this to appear the same. I want to actually find the flash drive that I've inserted in my computer. So here, if I go down, I can click on the flash drive. Now I already have a folder called John Carpino because I have actually 3 CDs by him, and I've already copied or ripped the other 2 over to this particular flash drive. So I have his albums Come So Far and Like As We Know It. But now I want to add the Evolution that I just ripped. So it's very simple, drag and drop. So I click on Evolution, I drag it over to the flash drive, the folder for John Carpino, and I let go. And now it'll copy over the tracks. It says copying 11, and I believe there was just 10 tracks. Sometimes there's album art or something like that that gets added, and it might show 1 extra item, but it should just be the 10 tracks that we ripped before from the actual CD itself. So you can see this again is a quick process, takes just a matter of seconds. And then the Evolution album is here. If I double click on Evolution, yep, there's the 10 tracks that we had. So they can play on this computer, but what we're going to do is see how this flash drive plays in the car. So let's go do that now, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back in the car, and now we're going to take the flash drive that I brought with me and put it into the USB connector slot. I have 2 in this car. Doesn't really matter which one I use. I put it in one of them, and then I close the console. Now my audio is off, so I'm going to turn my audio on. And I'm going to go to the home key and then audio, and it's already started playing. So I got the volume control here. Now it's not picked out the correct album art, which makes sense. And for some reason, John Carpino's name is coming out ARPIN. I don't know. That's not important now. The purpose is to show you how this works. So as I said, I can use the controls here on the screen to either advance to the next song or go backwards. Now it's showing a total of 37 songs because I've actually downloaded on this flash drive the 3 CDs that I own. I'm going to now also show you how we can make these changes on the steering wheel. Here is, I can go to the next track just by using the controls on the steering wheel. I'll go back, and the same thing works for volume. And one of the nicest features is when you can actually choose a song based on the verbally asking for it. Play track, I Can't Get Arrested in This Town. And all by itself, just like that, up comes that song and starts to play. So think about as you're driving and you don't want to have to be touching the screen or anything, you can just speak what you want and the system will respond. And then if you're driving with a passenger who wants to see what other songs might be available, the passenger can tap the browse button, and then here list all the songs we have in alphabetical order. And so when you get to one you like, the passenger can do, okay, let me hear this song. So lots of nice features by using a flash drive in the car. All right, so we now know how to use a flash drive for those cars equipped with those type of USB connectors. Now, this is not something that's really relatively new. This was available on a 2008 auto I traded in a few years ago. To me, the ability to verbally request the songs and/or the artist is the best feature, as this allows hands-free usage, thus improving safe driving. And let's face it, it's easier to carry one flash drive than 24 CD discs and cases. Now, you can play songs from your smartphone. We'll get into that a bit more now. Smartphones with songs saved on external storage. So many Android smartphones allow for a micro SD card to be added that can hold as much as 1 terabyte of music files. Now, how many songs is 1 terabyte of music files? Let's assume an average song is 5 megabytes in size. Well, a 1 terabyte micro SD card can fit approximately 200,000 of your very favorite songs. That's over 17,000 hours of music. And if you put that in terms of years, just under 2 years of playing time. Now, if you're going to use the micro SD card, it's best to do it while it's directly connected to the computer using an adapter, since using a cable connected to the smartphone itself is a much slower process. Now, iPhones don't accept micro SD cards. They don't allow the use of them for that additional storage option. So if you want to put music on your iPhone, it would have to be saved in the internal storage, thus taking up space that may be needed for other apps and system programs. So in this situation, for those committed to the Apple ecosystem, the long-running iPod Touch, the device that started it all, continues to be available, and it was updated as recently as 2019. And it's an excellent choice to use as a music playing device. But if you don't want to spend that much money for the iPod Touch, just a regular MP3 player, which were very popular before the advent of this feature in smartphones, these units are still available to purchase as well. Now we have to get the sound from your device to the car's speakers. So Bluetooth systems allow you to pair your smartphone or MP3 player, if that's what you're using, with the car stereo head unit to play music wirelessly. Now, it's a simple process, but for each vehicle manufacturer, they differ. So I really can't show you one video that's going to cover them all, but it's best if you check YouTube and look for the video for your specific vehicle, because as I said, this pairing procedure differs among car manufacturers. And if you can't find one specifically, or if it doesn't make sense, go to your car dealer. This is an option, and they should be able to help you in this regard. And then if your car doesn't have Bluetooth, then there's the audio jack. Many devices have the audio jack that is typically used with wired headphones, but this can also be used with cars that have this type of connection. And then we're also going to talk about the FM transmitter. This is a new video that I've added to this presentation, and this is where you can plug into a DC power slot, and it allows music to play from the device to an unused FM station on the car's radio. So let's see what we can find out about these different types of abilities. First one we're going to look at is Bluetooth from your phone to your car speakers. Okay, we're back in the car, and this time it's going to be a demonstration of how the Bluetooth works when your phone is paired with the head unit in the car. And I've already done that with this phone. And this particular system is called Sync 3, actually allows for the pairing of several phones. So you could have your spouse's phone, you could have your kid's phone, and depending who wants to play the music on a particular drive, we can easily change to whose phone is going to be paired. So now in this case, I have brought up on my Musical Lay app the song by John Carpino called Get This Thing Right, and it's from the Evolution LP, and I'm going to use the button on the screen here to play it. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. So it's coming out, and that's nice, sounding good. But now imagine I'm driving. I don't want to actually take my hands off the steering wheel. So I can just go to the controls on the steering wheel, and I can change the volume this way, either up or down. And likewise, if I want to go to the next track, it's just click on the seek button, and there's the next track. So again, safe driving. My hands really aren't coming off the steering wheel, and yet I'm controlling what I want to hear out of the car's speakers via Bluetooth from my phone. All right, so let's talk a little bit now about the second option I offered before, and that's using a streaming service. Most of the streaming services that are available today provide two choices. There's the first choice, which is free. So free is always nice, ads, not so much. So you get the free service with ads, and the service decides what songs to play in the genre you prefer. And then choice 2 is to pay for the service. And it's typically about $10 a month, where you choose the songs and the artists you want to hear. Now, the streaming service leaders, and there's a lot of them, but the ones you'll see mentioned the most are Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, this is an included benefit. Many people don't realize that. So to me, this is an excellent way to experience and experiment with a streaming service that you're already paying for. Now, Amazon also offers a premium pay service called Amazon Music Unlimited. That's where you get upwards of 50 million song choices available. So let's see how this works. All right, we're going to now use a streaming service. So I have Amazon Prime on my phone. Amazon Prime is free. Temporarily, I've also started a trial version of Amazon Music Unlimited, and that gives you many, many more song choices. So I'm going to tap on my Amazon Music on the phone. Comes up and it looks for the search history. I have John Carpino's name in already, so I'm going to keep it there and tap on that. And on the phone now, it's coming up with several results, and it has John Carpino as the artist. So I'll tap him, his name, and then it's showing the different albums that he has. Some of these I own, but some of them I don't. So if I go to this one here as an example and tap on it, it's going to show me all the different songs he's done. And I'm going to play the first one. I just tap on it. And now, even though it's playing on my phone through Bluetooth, it's coming out through the car speakers. And just like we did before, I can control the volume on the steering wheel. And I can also go to the next track on the phone, the next track on the phone, or come back. So again, all the things that you'd like to do and hear the music from your phone when it's connected via Bluetooth and you have a streaming service, you can hear all the different songs coming out of the head unit in your car. Okay, now we're in a car that does not have Bluetooth, but we still want to be able to utilize our cell phone as an example with the music we have on it to play in the car. So in this case, I use a wired connection. So normally most phones have a speaker jack. Instead of using the plug for headphones, I'm using it to connect it to the auxiliary input jack in this particular car. And I have a little holder here, and I'll talk about that in a second, that puts the phone right within easy reach of my hand as I'm driving. So I have it all connected, and I have my music Olay system set up. I want to hear a particular song, Hey Memphis by John Carpino. I just press the play button. And now again, it's coming out of the car speakers. Control it with the volume control here like I normally would. But I have all my music with me on my phone connected to the car, even without Bluetooth. Now what I've done is also I use this little bit of a holder here, and I'll just take this off for a second. This just clips right into, just hangs right on the CD insert spot. So that way, but it won't move, and I like it because it's within easy reach. Some cars have more vents, and you can use clips like that too, but for this particular vehicle, I think this worked out the best. Put this back, lock it in a little bit. All right, then we come to older cars that don't have any modern audio features. So the first choice is going to be a cassette adapter, and I'll talk a little bit about those with another video. And then we have what's known as FM transmitters. Now these are useful not only for getting music from your device to the car speakers, but this is also ideal for hands-free phone calls. That most states now have laws that you can't be talking on a cell phone unless you have a hands-free option. This can provide you one for those older vehicles. Now, the version, there's two that I'm showing you here. The white one on the right hand side, I bought them both on Amazon, and the right one is no longer available when I checked recently. But the one on the left is, and I'll give you the manufacturer's names in a minute. So you use Bluetooth, or you can attach audio cables between the speaker jack of the FM transmitter and the device that'll be playing your music, example, your cell phone. And FM transmitters often accept either USB or SD cards with stored music on them. And then all you need to do is configure the FM transmitter to send the audio sound to a not in use FM radio station, and then listen to your music on that station on your car FM radio. So let's see how these work. Okay, folks, now we're going to move on to a vehicle that is so old. This is my 20-year-old motorhome, that the fancy entertainment system consists of an AM/FM radio and a cassette player. Then what do? Well, you can get what's called a cassette adapter. Now, the cassette adapter costs under $10 at Walmart, and this one is a wired cassette adapter. And I just recently learned that on Amazon you can buy a Bluetooth cassette adapter that will come without the wire, and it'll connect via Bluetooth your phone and the cassette. So whenever you're playing it, and I'm going to give you an example of how that works now. So I'm going to take the cassette adapter and put it into just like I normally would. Yeah, the wire is sticking out, but that's no big deal. And the other end of the wire is connected to the speaker jack on my smartphone, where I have the song ready to play. And I'm going to press the play button, turn up the volume a little bit. And this is my friend John Carpino, who's given me permission to play all of his music for these instructional videos. And it's close enough to me while I'm driving. If I want to hear to the next song, I can just tap on the button that goes forward to the next selection, and there it is. So, and again, but the volume is all controlled on what I normally would if I was playing a tape. So that's one way of dealing with an older vehicle if it has a cassette player, and all your music though is stored on some kind of device like a smartphone. All right, the next item and type of device I'm going to talk about is called an FM transmitter. Now, these have been around for a long time. I had one probably close to 30 years ago. They were analog in those days, and they really didn't hold the station very good. What does an FM transmitter do? It takes the signal that you're sending to it to an unused FM radio station. So we know on the FM dial, there's lots of stations that are not broadcast on, depending where you are. You can then direct the signal to go to that station and hear it through your FM radio. So this particular device I liked. It has the ability for me to play a flash drive with music on it. So all I have to do is plug it in, and when it's connected to the DC power, it'll play. And it also, this is a neat one because it has a SD card. So I can actually put all of my music on a SD card like this and have it plugged in, and it'll play. The problem with this one is when I have it plugged in over here, it's in my gear shifter is in the way. So for this particular vehicle, this isn't working that well. All right, so what did I do? I went out and I got a second FM transmitter, one a little bit more flat that fits in nicely to the DC power slot on the dash here. You can see I already have it tuned to 93.1. That's the FM station, and on my radio here, I also have it at 93.1. So now when I play a song on my phone that's connected via Bluetooth, it'll come out through the speakers in the vehicle. So let's see if that works. I've been watching out my window. Everybody looks confused. John sounding very good. So this now is really close to me as I'm driving. If I want to go to the next song, just a matter of tapping the forward button like that, and it brings up the next song, and I can see on the phone it's called It's About a Love. And this particular app I'm using actually gives me the lyrics. So, but I should be watching the road, not the lyrics as I'm driving. So that's how an FM transmitter works. You pair your phone with the transmitter, and whatever unused station in your area is not being used for a regular FM signal, you're able to play your device through that. All right, here we go with the final aspect. I've taken my FM transmitter, and this time I've saved all of the songs I have by John Carpino on a flash drive. And I've plugged the flash drive into the center button here. The other two actually are for if you want to charge something. Let's say you want to charge your phones or something else, you can plug in here. But the middle one will now actually read the information that's on that flash drive. And what's on that flash drive is the MP3 files of John Carpino's songs. So I have it set up again. I just have to press the play button here. And it's now, you can see there's no phone here. It's now playing the songs that are on this flash drive through the FM radio on the 93.1 station. Well, maybe I expect more from my brothers and sisters. Take a look around you, man. Take a look around you, mister. 2 minutes walking around with a hole in their heart. So even with an old vehicle, a 20-year-old vehicle that only has a cassette player, you can see there's several ways that you can take today's technology, as long as you have your music saved as MP3 files on some kind of device, and play them in your car effortlessly as you're driving along, and you can be on the road again. Thank you very much. Okay, we're coming near the end. Let me just mention a few other options that you might want to consider. Android Auto. Now, I have not used any of these, so I don't have any personal experience here, but I can tell you that with Android Auto, it's a mobile app, and it allows the features from an Android phone to appear on the car's compatible entertainment head unit. So basically, if I had that on this car, instead of me seeing the Sync 3 features, I would see what Android Auto has, and they would have different icons, etc. And that can be voice operated, but it's not available for every car, so you have to make sure. Right now it works primarily on car models from about 2017 and later. Of course, Apple, not to be outdone, has the Apple CarPlay, and that software again runs from a connected iPhone, and it provides a variety of audio features. This is good for cars mostly from 2016 and later. And then if you really need your Alexa in the car, there's the Amazon Echo Auto, and that provides the Alexa app to your car via Bluetooth or a wired connection. And here, in addition to playing music, you can also have the other benefits that an Echo device typically offers. Now, Echo Auto is not compatible with all cars or smartphones, and here's the most important thing to remember. When you're connected with it, you're using your cell phone's carrier data plan, so that could be adding up. So music formats will continue to change. One certainty with technology, it's always evolving. Either you evolve with it or you get left behind. Now, I just want to say a couple of things about John Carpino, and let me actually mention.
Liked what you heard? Then support this marvelous singer-songwriter by bringing home his music. Available on his website, johncarpino.com.
So why do I have only John Carpino songs here? Well, YouTube copyright violations. YouTube has a very strict policy regarding songs played in their videos on their website that must have permission to do so. If this is violated, YouTube gives strikes, and with 3 strikes, you're out. What does that mean? They shut down your YouTube channel. Now, since I know many user groups upload presentations such as this to their club YouTube channel, I wanted to make sure this could be accomplished without any kind of copyright issues. So my playing John Carpino songs with his permission allows this tutorial to be uploaded without a copyright issue. You would be doing me a wonderful and terrific personal favor if at some point you just go to his website, johncarpino.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and click on Send Message and tell him you saw my presentation and appreciate that he has allowed his music to be used.